Well, here I am in the middle of the night. I just finished this book. Book 21 in the Sherlock and Savich FBI series. And I've had books like this before, especially with Patterson. Patterson is 100% guilty of doing this. But for whatever reason, it's just. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Tina. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no themes, none of that fancy smancy stuff going on here. And there was two plots here. All right. Let me just put these down here just in case she wants to come up. There were two plots. And the plots were separate. Right? Yeah. But the people and the agents intermingled. And it was layered. So much multi-layered, and there was there were subplots. There were quite a few subplots. And I spent so much time trying to pay attention to this plot, and then this subplot, and then this subplot, and this subplot, with both cases, that I kind of got lost, and I didn't like it so much. I mean, it was really good. I probably really liked it the first time I read it. And it's a really good book, and it's well written book. It was just that there was, I think, because I wanted to give a book report to you, that I was paying so much attention to the details and to the plots and the subplots that I stopped enjoying the book because I was trying to write a report. And it's like 10 pages long, although I used, large font here. But so we have your two separate cases, and I don't know why it bothered me so much, because like in Patterson I'm just used to it, but in this particular instance, because there were two separate cases and because the people intermingle, I kind of got lost. It's hard to. So let's just. We have a lot of people that don't need a lot of explanation or introduction because we've seen them before. We know who works with Sherlock and Savich in Washington, D.C. We know and are familiar with and enjoy Ruth Noble. She's from Maestro. She married Dix with the two boys and the dog. And we've been to Maestro three. I think 3 books have gone to Maestro, Virginia. Winkle's Cave, I forget what it was called originally. It's up there. Uh, no, not Chills. Not, I don't remember which one it was. It's one of those ones up there, and it wasn't too long ago. So we've had those people before, and so we're used to Ollie. We're used to Ruth. We know Ben Raven. He's the local cop in DC. Sherlock is friends with him. Has a working relationship with him, and so our first plot or storyline is here. And this lady calls, a friend of Savich's calls him and says this guy very angrily forced his way into Kara's house. Can you please come rescue Kara? She is with child. Sherlock goes over there and there's cops out front. And I'm not sure why he didn't. He did text Ben Raven at some point, but I don't know why he didn't talk to the cops out front. Maybe he didn't want anybody to know that he was there at that juncture. Alert the killer, maybe, or potential kidnap, whatever the hell you want to call the guy. And so the lady said, "There's this back way in. Use it." Savich goes in the back way. and he saves the girl, gets the guy, the kidnapper, shoots him, knocks him out, doesn't kill him, but knocks him out. And by that point, he's telling the people out front, FBI, the good guy, the situation's been handled, the killer, a kidnapper, tormentor is down, and this other guy comes in, what was his name? Mayor, Aldo Mayor. And he's got a chip on his shoulder for Savich. Huge. Doesn't like Savich, wants Savich's head on a platter. And we have several incidents with Mayor and Savich coming after each other. And Savich is like, what? What's the big deal? And Mayor is like shooting other stuff. And he goes to his bosses. And the bosses are like, Mayor. And they handle the situation there. And then it happens again. And someone almost dies. And they're like, Mayor. So you have your plot with Kara and the potential kidnapper, psychotic guy that was there. But he's in the hospital. He's had his incidents. He's in a coma. He's not waking up. And Kara has given birth to her baby boy. And all is hunky-dory. But Savich starts to think of stuff. And information starts coming in. Jibber. Just itty-bitty piece of information. Just itty-bitties. And Savich goes to the hospital and he checks on the John Doe and he gets the information from the doctor that this John Doe has been treated for stuff. He may or may not have had anemia. He may or may not have cancer. He's got all this stuff in, and maybe all these drugs are the drugs that are keeping him unconscious. And she gives Savich there's a couple of pages of the information on that. And Savich is like, there's just something that right here, I think this guy needs to be guarded. So he calls Ben Raven. Hey, Ben Raven, you need to get a guard on here. And then, of course, Mayor shows up. He's the DC. And he's like, Savich, who are you to tell DC to put a guard on this guy? Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. And again, they're like, Mayor. So they're talking to Mayor again. And so they put the guard on from the DC cop. And then stuff happens, and Savich takes over the case with the FBI because something happened. It made it their jurisdiction. And, we'll get to that in a second. And they dismiss the cop on the door. And because Mayor and his underhandedness, because he dismissed his cop on the door and didn't tell Savich till hours later, because of his thing about Savich, a killer went into the room and almost killed the guy, but he was saved at the last minute. So Mayor's head's on a platter now. Because you didn't believe Savich and said this guy was alive, because you blah, 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 you're at fault now. It's your fault that this guy was almost killed. If he'd been killed, it would have been your fault because you were neglectful in your duties because you had a grudge against Savich. In the meantime, like I said, Savich is putting all these pieces together, all this information's coming in, and Kara's baby gets kidnapped. A person comes in pretending to be a nurse, pretending to take the child out of the room to do something, takes the baby, puts it in the room next door, brings back a bundle of towels, puts it in the bassinet. She gets up to see the kid. He's gone. So that goes through the whole chapter. So you have that going on. You have Kara and this guy in the hospital, and Sherlock and Savich visiting him and taking care of that. And you have the stuff with Mayor going on. You have the stuff with Ben Raven going on. And then you have this other stuff going on. This guy was, you don't find out until later who the head guy was, who was pulling the strings, who was making the decisions. But that has, branches. This is your guy up here with this is your head guy, right? But then you had this storyline, and this storyline, and this storyline coming out from this storyline. You had 3 different storylines coming out from the one storyline. And they were in like this many directions. And there was a whole bunch of people involved. And I was trying to keep track of it all. And I'm like, it was a lot. And I don't know how, no wonder it takes the writer so long to write a book. Because she was putting all the pieces together and doing all the stuff with it. So then you have this guy who robbed a bank and his cohort got killed, and a teller ended up getting killed, and he ends up going to prison, and his lawyer comes in and says, look, take the plea deal, avoid the court stuff because you could get the death penalty, and do the plea deal. And the lawyer is paid some money to tell the bad guy, look, you're going to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And then when you're transferred to the other prison, as we've seen in so many movies, it happens so much. I'm wondering how these guys can do this job, because it must scare the life out of them to think that it could happen in real life. And it probably has happened many times in real life, but you just don't hear about it that often. But the books use it a lot, and the soaps use it a lot. The guy is being transferred from point A to point B, and in the middle between A and B, he gets rescued, the truck is overturned, whatever, the guys are knocked out or killed or whatever, and your murderer here gets escaped. And they go on this trek, and he's spotted by somebody, and somebody reports it, and we go off to the woods, and we do some searching in the woods, and then a helicopter comes and takes the guy, so we have the helicopter company to go after, and the helicopter to go after, and the driver of the car to go after, and we have to do all these little investigations, and they layer and layer and layer and layer, and they pile up, and you got so much going on here. It's so multi-layered, it's so depth-filled. And so you really have to break down this guy with the bank thing. And it ends up being as thick as this book in motive. It's just so layered. It is so massively layered and thick. You've got the bank guy. Well, all right, let me back up here. You have the head guy. Then you have the lawyer guy. Then you have the murderer, the potential bank robber murderer guy. And then you have the group working with him. And then there's another group under that. And it all leads back to the head guy. And it takes a really long time. It isn't until almost the very last chapters that you get the scope of the story. Because down here at the bottom is a poor kid who is going to be accused of murder because the setup was so good. The setup was perfect, almost perfect. If Savich hadn't believed this kid, who is naive in the ways of the world, very book smart, but naive in the ways of the world, and he got taken huge time by a girl. And he got drugged, and he was framed for something that he didn't do, and he will have to have this in his brain forever. But Savich, because Savich believed him, and they did the hypnosis because the guy was drugged, and it goes from there. And it's so thick and multi-layered to get to this little kid here. From the head guy here to the little kid here. And there's so many people in between the head guy here and the little guy here. But this little guy has a huge connection to the top guy. Or yeah, the guy under the top guy. So there's a lot. There's an awful lot going on here with your two, with the kidnapper guy who's still in a coma. By the end of the book, he's still out of it. So there's still some stuff going on, and it's so layered. So we had so many characters, and I stopped. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got to 12 before because a lot of them were recent, a lot of them were background characters. I was like, okay, I just let it go by then. But I mean, the lawyer does stupid stuff. It's just a very layered case. That lawyer does stupid stuff. He's connected. He gets, they go after him. He should have confessed right away, but he didn't. And the cops could have saved him, but he didn't cough it up. So there was blackmail there. There was a whole bunch of money there. There was the bank robbery there. So you have your two different cases. It's just, that's my expression. It's just whatever word you want to put in, just good, just bad, just complicated. It's very, very, very multi-layered. There's so many layers to this mystery. There's so many pieces to this puzzle. For both cases. Both cases have multiple layers to them. Both cases. So this is book 21. And this is going to be book 21 and a half. Or I think 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I do these out of order? Oh, that's what's wrong. Okay. This is book 21 and a half. And this is book 22. This is your, as I was doing before, I got mixed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is either book 5 in the Brit FBI series, which he's now in America. He's now in New York. Alex Drummond is in New York. And then book 22. And we've only got 5 more books to go to 27. And that's the end of the FBI series. It just broke my heart when Catherine Coulter decided to call it quits. She wanted to go write more Regencies. Catherine Coulter started a long time ago, before she started the FBI series. It's called the Sherlock series. So you can go check that out. It was going to be a trilogy. It's a few more than that now, but it's Alex and Douglas are the first couple in the first book. So there's not too many of those. It ends with the twin boys, and it has a couple of branches in America. Or it's something like, yeah, there's a couple off branches with the chick. I forget her name. It's been a while. So she's going back to those. She wants to do a few of those. She doesn't want to do these right now. So I'm hoping one day down the road she'll come back to Sherlock and Savich. We don't know yet. I have no idea what's going to go on. So we'll see what happens. But if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I need some people to see my channel. People don't even know I exist anymore. Don't forget to check out Flashback Mondays and If Then Fridays and the Star Trek Next Generation recaps, which are going to turn into Star Trek Voyager recaps soon. So have a good day.